Hi, everybody, and welcome to Just Saying. It is December 30th, 2013. One more day of this year. I'm Kim, and I'm joined here as I am every week by my lovely, vivacious, and oh so happy co-host, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Kim. Yeah, I am kind of happy. Am I sitting on a chair or am I floating? I can't tell.
A little bit of both. I think you're doing the hover thing.
Yeah, I know. What a wild ride. Well, why don't we start with you, because we always start with you, and then I'll giddy myself.
No, you've got too much giddy going on. You get to go first.
Okay. Well, if you guys out there don't already know, I'm telling you, I'm going to be a grandma.
Yay!
And last night, yahoo! And you're going to be an Auntie Kim.
Yay!
And Uncle Eric, Uncle Yeti. We're going to have to start doing something cool on Penn here. Anyway, my son and daughter-in-law had a gender party last night. And I was like, what the heck is that? They sent us the invitations. But what they did was, when she had her last ultrasound done, they didn't want to know what they were having. They had the doctor write it down on a piece of paper and seal it in an envelope. And they went to a baker, and they gave the envelope to the baker. And this baker does these specialty cakes. And obviously when you cut it, pink inside for a girl, blue inside for a boy. So nobody knew. And what Jen came up with, my daughter-in-law, she got Hershey bars. And she got pink pens and Sharpies and blue Sharpies. And you had to write in Hershey either SHE or HE, the blue for the boy for HE, and the pink for the girls for SHE, which I think is kind of cool because it's right in the middle of Hershey. So, of course, I wrote in blue because I was like feeling, boy, I was girl all along. And then the day before, it was like, I think she's having a boy. So when they cut into the cake and out came the first slice, it was blue. So I won a candy bar, and I'm also going to win a grandson. So that's pretty good. 2 things in one night.
And you found out on Vinny's birthday. That's
right. Yesterday was Rick's birthday, so it was all around fun. It was emotional too because it's been a long ride for them, and so it was a nice happy time. But I don't want to take away from the happy time, but I'm going to ask everybody for some prayers. My mother-in-law Saturday night got rushed to the hospital. She was in intensive care for a day or so, and they just put her in a regular room. She seems to be doing a lot better. So all of you out there, please, put some positive thoughts in her direction, and please send some healing and plenty of prayers. But anyway, May 9th.
Woot woot.
That's right. I was snapping pictures left and right, but I didn't have really good signal while I was there. I would have been posting on Facebook, so I had to wait till I got home. So how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm cold.
Oh, what are you, like 40? We're like 12 here.
Yeah, actually it is 40.
Yeah, we're going to go down to I think they said 13 tomorrow night. So it's going to be cold out there banging pots.
No.
How was Christmas for you?
It was quiet.
Yeah.
It was. Kim's not getting out of her pajamas.
That was probably me on Christmas Day too. Nobody comes over on Christmas. We do our thing Christmas Eve. But yeah, we didn't even really talk that much on Christmas. I think you were kind of laying low. Every once in a while we'd send a message back and forth. But
well, Eric cooked a lovely dinner, and we had eggnog spiked and cookies and pie.
Yeah, I saw that picture you posted. I was ready to start driving, but I figured it would take me 20-some hours to get there, and you guys would have ate it all up by the time I got there.
He made his first batch of dressing from scratch. It was very good.
I'm sure it was. Well, now we have New Year's to look forward to.
Well, that gives us about 36 hours to clean out the rest of the weeds.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to a weed-free garden. So, do you have any resolutions?
I made a resolution in 77 never to make a resolution. It's the only one I've ever kept.
Smart thinking. I read somewhere that most people actually take nervous breakdowns because they put so many of these resolutions out there that are so unattainable. They take breakdowns because they can't do it. Not me.
Well, forever I sat there and watched. Oh, let's make this New Year's resolution. And what's your New Year's resolution? And blah 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 blah. And like 2 weeks later, they're doing exactly what they said they were never going to do again.
I know.
So,
but you put the pressure on.
So freshman year in high school, I said, that's it. No more. I will never make another resolution, and I've stuck to it.
Well, the beauty of coming to a close, you can kind of remember all the good things that did happen throughout the year. Because I usually, sometimes I zoom in on the bad things. And I kind of have a half a resolution coming up is the fact is concentrate on all the good stuff. And I think tonight, our show tonight is starting. It's the ending of a good year for us here, and it's also going to show all the good things that are upon us. So whatever we do up and coming, it's going to be fun. It's going to be positive, and we're going to enjoy it. And so that brings us to our guest tonight, because the guest that we have tonight is always positive, upbeat. And she's probably our favorite guest. We've had her on so many times, and when the show comes to an end, it's like, we got to bring you back on again. So what better way to end 2013 than to bring on our guest?
Well, you can't say favorite because you may upset a few. But we will definitely put her in our top 5.
Yes. Well, I'm going to put her in my top 2. Well, no, this particular guest, which everybody knows who we're going to have on tonight, considers herself a C-list, but I consider her one of our A-list guests.
She is one of our A-list guests.
Yes.
And we don't have that many. Our guest this evening hails from Arizona. She is an author. And what was I coming up with earlier? She is the superb event coordinator for all things weird. But that's why we like it. Debbie Branning.
Yeah. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the show tonight.
That was a good description of it, really. All things weird. That is me.
But we like it that way. I mean, it's not the same stereotypical thing that everybody else is doing and complaining about. Yours are always fun.
It's always out of the ordinary. I mean, just look at some of the places we did this year. I slept in a cave, and I got to kiss the Blarney Stone. That was a big event for the year. Come and see Mary. I finally met Mary after all this time.
Well, not so much me. You went up to the Shanley.
Yeah, that was really exciting. I enjoyed it.
See, Kim, that should be our goal in 2014. We're always talking about the Shanley and how much we love it. Is get all these people here. Make that list.
Really?
Yeah, we have certain people. Oh, I can't wait to go back. Get them all there at the same time.
Same time, yeah.
Yeah, oh God, could you imagine that? That would definitely be interesting.
It'd be fun.
Could you imagine Debbie and Maureen and Patty and Cynthia and...
I ain't covering that bar tab.
Yeah, exactly. But we could get you to make some pulled pork, right?
Hey, I'm good at pulling meat.
Okay. Let's rewind that. So anyway, Debbie.
Yes.
I know. Kim, you continue. He's your husband.
I don't know what to say after that comment.
I know. Did I mention that cake last night was really tasty?
It looked good. I wouldn't want to cut it. It was too cute.
I know.
It was very cute. The problem is they make really cute stuff with fondant, but I don't like the taste of fondant, so I'd be peeling it off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't usually care for that either, but this was exceptionally good. They had that for their wedding cake, and it's like, I like icing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not something that you roll, but this was kind of soft, and it was very tasty. And I made sure I had 2 slices so that you were tasting it too, Kim. I mean, I wasn't going to just eat one.
Well, I thought you had the second piece just to make sure it was blue the second time around.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Rick was sitting there, or should I say, AKA Vinny Two Fingers, was sitting there, and as our waiter was cutting this cake, he's going, wouldn't that be funny if it was pink on the other side? And he sat there till that whole cake was cut, just to make sure there wasn't a pink. And then the whole thing went around about, we hope the guy got it right. And Jen's like, and Ricky's going to Jen, well, pull out the envelope, let's just make sure. She goes, I can't, it's in my car at home. So he was like sweating bullets the whole time while he got home to look at that envelope, thinking the guy screwed it up, thinking it's opposite day.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, it could. So speaking of things happening, you mentioned about sleeping in a cave.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That was up at the Grand Canyon Caverns. It's up, on the old Route 66. And it's been like a tourist attraction on Route 66 forever and ever and ever. And they were offering paranormal investigation teams to come up there and investigate, in case there were ghosts. So we brought about, I think it was about 15, 16 people. And some of us slept up in the cave, and the other of us stayed at the haunted bunkhouse. And we all got to investigate, but we actually slept in the cave. It was really kind of cool. They were telling us, oh yeah, you're safe, no rocks or anything, we'll fall. And I'm laying in the middle of the night and I'd hear plunk. And I'm like, oh, that's not true. So I'm laying there all night with my hands over my face. But it was really neat. It was really kind of a neat experience to say that you spent the night in the cave, the Grand Canyon Caverns. We saw some shadow people. That was about it. We didn't get, any recordings or anything like that. The thing, we figured there was like a lot of residual energy in the cave. And so in this, they have like a room there. It's on a platform, just like a motel. There's sofas, there's a couple beds, there's a little kitchenette, a little bathroom like you would find like in a RV. And then there was like a stereo, an old-fashioned stereo with albums. So we were like down there, and we put on some Elton John, and we all started singing "The Bitch Is Back." So we were thinking, 50 years from now, someone else will be down in the cave, and there'll be this other residual energy, and they'll start hearing a bunch of wacky women singing "The Bitch Is Back," and they're gonna go, "What is this about?" So it's kind of fun. We left our own little mark there for future ghost hunters. But it was an interesting experience. I really enjoyed just to say that we spent the night down, I don't know how many feet it was down below in the underground, but it was really a cool experience.
Well, if Kim and I were there with you, okay, and you'd hear the occasional rock, it wouldn't have been a natural thing. It would have been Kim and I tossing rocks at people.
Mm-hmm. I know, just kind of freak them out, but it was an interesting spot. There's I think it was one of the Indian tribes used to bury their dead in the cave, so that was another reason why they believed it could be haunted as well. And they closed up that entrance of the cave when they put the elevator in, and we almost got stuck down there because one of our girls forgot to hit the button to make the elevator come back down, and so we're like standing down there. It's like no way we could get it. The elevator comes. So finally she figured out, since we didn't come along, that she goofed. But we all had to go to the restroom. It was like, let us out. So it was fun. It was a fun experience. Yeah, we always have kind of a crazy time when we go somewhere. So it was.
Well, now you've come to the East Coast because you went to Salem.
Yeah.
You went to 2 out of 3 of my favorite haunts.
Yeah.
You got to Fort Mifflin.
Yeah,
and
Mifflin.
Of course, Shanley. I didn't get you to Gettysburg yet.
Not yet. One of these days.
Now, this is going to be a really crazy question, but then again, you're on Just Saying, so we can't help ourselves, and we probably should put a disclaimer on some of our questions. But
yeah, that.
With all the places that you've been to out in Arizona and the surrounding areas, and then you come here, do you notice a difference in the paranormal activity?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's I don't know how to explain it. It seems a little more active. I don't
Here
know.
or where
Back,
you are?
back east.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm so used to the slow pace of everything in Arizona, and the East Coast more fast pace, and I don't know, the energy seems stronger there for some reason. Arizona, some places are too. I guess it just depends where you are.
Yeah, I mean, and in all fairness, I don't think you made it. Did you go to Valley Forge at all? Because
No,
I know we split
we
up
didn't make
there
it
for a
there.
while.
Yeah, we didn't make it there.
But at Fort Mifflin, and you basically did a walkthrough there.
Yeah.
And even if you make it to Gettysburg, I mean, you've got a lot of fighting that went on. Right? A lot
Yeah.
of people lost their lives. I mean,
Right.
just the fact that the fighting, the energy that it takes to do that, and
Right.
and the impression of things that you're leaving behind.
Right.
I could definitely see that, maybe making things a little bit, stronger.
Right, and I think in all the forts I've been to, because I like to go to forts. They interest me for some reason. That you have that strong male energy there too, because it
Yes.
was mostly men. I mean, there were always women there that lived in the forts too, their wives and things like that, cooks and whatever. But you really feel that strong male energy as you're walking through buildings, and you feel when you're walking into like those little I don't know what do they call the little tunnels.
The casemates.
Yeah. I mean, you felt men there. You didn't feel like, oh, there's like women down here hanging out. You felt men inside of those. So it's
Yeah,
a
but-
big veil. Yeah.
But Kim, when we go to the Shanley Hotel, I think there's just more so a women activity, because
Yeah.
okay, you got the bordello going on there. There was also a lot of gangster stuff too, but I don't know. I think that when we've been there, it's been more of a female thing, don't you think, Kim?
Yeah, I think the only place that it's not even so much Joe's room, but I think that the only place we really encounter any male anything is on that third floor. That's why we don't go up there a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
What about you, Debbie? When you were there, I mean, you were there long enough. We were there two
Yeah,
nights.
two nights. Definitely female in the border, obviously. Going up the stairs was kind of a male thing because they were probably watching, who was coming and going there. But I know when we were in that, I don't know, what would you call it, the great room, the room where everyone kind of sits around and
Yes.
eats up and eats whatever. And
The
looked
great
for
room.
somebody. Yeah. I mean, I know I looked once and you said, you saw it, didn't you? And I said, I saw something there. There's always something kind of watching right there. And
Yeah.
that felt male.
Well, it is said that there is a male spirit by the name of Frank that hangs out there. He kind of would, and Eric, you might need to help me out with the word on this. Not a bouncer, but the guys had to get past him to get into the gentleman's
Yeah.
quarters and of course the bordello.
The pimp.
So what?
He was being a bouncer or security.
Yeah, it was kind of, the bouncer type of thing. There's another name for it. Whoever, kind of.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
get
he
the pass.
stood, and he was said to have been a kind of grouchy kind of guy. And then, of course, as you go up to the bordello, you have that seat where the madam sat. So you had to get by her too.
Yeah, you had to pass the test to get upstairs. So yeah, it was that was, I think, the strongest place in the whole thing. And I actually did kind of film a little video as walking through there, and it was kind of weird being up there by yourself, but at the same time I thought, well, it's just mainly women. They're not gonna say anything.
You know what? They'll poke at you though. They're very interested in the material of your clothing.
I didn't think I had any bling on them, so I didn't care. But the third floor, yeah, that one is very. I don't know, maybe because it's unfinished, it seems more rugged and manly. I don't know. Maybe when someday, if that one ever gets complete, it'll have a different feeling to it. But maybe because it's still in the remake stage, it's.
I don't know. All I know is if I can get up to the second step without feeling creeped
Right.
out, then I can make it all the way up. But as a rule, Kim and I, there'd have to be $1,000 sitting up on the top steps for us to go there to go grab it. I mean, I've been up there, and to be perfectly honest, I've only been up there twice by myself, and it was a quick run the camera, cables up there, place the camera, and get down. And I've never done that trip so fast in my life. However, I will say, when we were there, you weren't with us, Kim, but that was when Robin Marie was there, and I walked around with her. I felt very comfortable up on the 3rd floor because Robin is such a strong force that I almost, I felt like if anything was going to be around, she'd get it first.
Yeah, she'd tell you go, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the room I was in, there in that little corner, I don't know what number it was or what it's called, but that was the room they told me when we kind of were doing the whole walkthrough that someone kind of walks through the room, like through that door, and there was like maybe another entry where the window is, and like maybe there was a side stairs or something at one time. And it was early in the morning when I finally went up that I could feel someone brush by the end of the bed where I was and walk past. I didn't see anybody, but I did hear someone walk through the room.
Oh, interesting.
So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. And then there was when we were there was a bunch of us upstairs in the bordel, and there was like a weird light that flashed in the first room.
Mm-hmm.
We all saw it in the mirror, and then some other people that because I was facing more and looking at the mirror, then the people that were looking the other way saw it like by the bed or wherever what was on that end. So everyone saw like a light just kind of flashed in there at one time.
Right, I remember you talking about that.
Is that Anna's room?
Anna's room
Yeah.
is strange. Go ahead, Kim.
I was going to say, is that Anna's room? I think everybody's had some kind of weirdness in Anna's room.
Yeah, it was
Anna's room. Anna's room is the room where I posted the picture of that shadow figure sitting on the edge of the bed.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. But I was really glad because being there my first time, and all the people there that came together to investigate all worked really well together, and it was really nice that they just kind of let me tag along and wherever they went. So I really enjoy that they let me kind of like hunt along with them. So it was fun. I like that a lot.
Okay, I got a question. I got a weird question, but I got a question.
Okay.
You said that back in Arizona it's more laid back and it's more fast paced up on the East Coast. Is it? Do you think maybe it's just because they're used to you in Arizona?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it, and I'm used to them. If I'm at a new location, then maybe the energy feels different. But a lot of the places we go to, we've been to many times, and like when we used to do the Gaston Hotel, we used to go down there about every 2 or 3 weeks. And after a while, it was like the spirits, like they knew we were coming. They had things set up for us. It's kind of like at the Shanley. They're like, oh yeah, they're coming. Okay. We'll do this time, or we'll hide this from them, and they'd hide things from us, and we wouldn't find them until it was time to go home. And we knew it wasn't the help there because they never messed with anything. So it was just little things like that. I think if you visit a location a lot of times, the spirits kind of like get used to you and they go, okay, they're harmless,
Well,
we'll play with them.
The second part of that question is, do you think maybe your spirits sent word to the other ones?
I don't know. When I go into a thing, I try to go in just without everything else around me. I just try to focus on what's there.
Well,
so
I mean,
know if I bring other spirits with me or what, I don't know.
I mean, yours are so used to you and how you investigate, and they know you and they're comfortable with you. I wonder if there isn't some kind of little paranormal phone line to where they contact each other and say, okay, she's coming, she's cool, don't mess with her too bad.
Yeah.
Show her things, but don't trip her down the steps.
Yeah. I've had that happen when I visited places where other people frequent. We went to this hotel Lee in Yuma, and I had a friend there that investigated there about every other weekend. And when we came down to do our little workshop thing, and he set up cameras, and at night he was tearing down. And so he says to the little ghost, was a little girl ghost. He says, okay. He says, I'm going to leave now. So don't you go upstairs and start terrorizing, my friends. And then you hear the little girl going, upstairs. She was like, ooh, goody, like I can go mess with them now. So I think that's like I said, I think if they get used to people, they're going to respond more with them. I mean, Mary could probably go up there and have a conversation with them and record a whole conversation, where they stand back from me a little bit because they don't know me. But if Mary says, this is my friend Debbie, it's okay, they might respond more. I find that a lot. If we go places and say, okay, these are our friends, it's okay to, to show yourself and, converse or whatever. It'll happen more.
Well,
no, I agree.
We've had it to where we've sat there and said, okay, there's so and so downstairs, go mess with them. Don't hurt them, just go mess with them. And then 2 hours later, they're like, man, someone was tugging on my pants, and we just sit there and grin.
Right. Yeah, they get friendly with ones they're used to, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's just like at your shop when Mary came and you were saying, okay, you have all these things happening on the show Mary, and then things started happening, like the car house, doors slamming and doors moving, because it was like, you were giving them permission. Yeah, I'll show Mary's. Yeah, the place is haunted. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they definitely showed Mary.
So, yeah.
I know, that was different. Well, one thing that Kim and I have noticed, and we've talked about this before on the show, is when Kim and I took a trip to the Shanley by ourselves, and we had a horrible night. I mean, it was the night from hell. We didn't sleep. We were not permitted, really, to sleep. We finally got up like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're sitting in the great room, only to find out when Teresa came down to make coffee and stuff, how'd you sleep? Well, we had a horrible night, and I have never not had a night that I went to the Shanley I didn't sleep. I actually sleep better at the Shanley than I do at home.
And it was your normal room. It wasn't like we slept in a different room than normal.
No, it was the normal room. The minute we walked through the door, we were in the Rose Room, which is the room that I had when you were there, Debbie. As soon as I walked in, I started getting pains in my stomach. She started taking asthma attacks, and she doesn't even have asthma.
Oh, wow.
And it went on and off throughout the whole entire night. I actually got up about 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, the fun part in this is Kim and I were the only ones in the hotel besides Sal and Teresa. It was a Sunday night, so we were there by ourselves. So imagine going down to the great room about 3 o'clock in the morning, nothing going on. As soon as I walked outside that room, the pains in my stomach stopped.
Oh, wow.
I stayed down there for a little bit because I didn't want to leave her alone too long up there, because, like I said, she was having trouble with me. She dozed off, and I'm tossing and turning. And I went back upstairs, and as soon as I went back up, the pain started again. Then she woke up and she was coughing, so we finally said, that's it, let's go downstairs. Teresa comes down, how'd you sleep? Horrible. And she goes, really? And we're like, yeah, we wouldn't make it up, And she proceeds to tell us, Kim, tell her what happened.
Apparently the night before we got there was a group that was supposed to be investigating, but the one guy's daughter decided to get drunk and was like screaming and cussing at him, wound up in the middle of some other couple's bed. I mean, just crazy, obnoxious. She was not a nice person, and apparently they spent the entire night. We were there going, look, listen, you know what she did? So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she had a knife or something like that.
She was threatening to stab people.
But the point that, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, it goes along with what you were saying about, and Kim had asked you about spirits. If you go to a place over and over again, like I do the Shanley, and Kim had already been there about 3 times, they start to know you. And they had to come to us and say, you're not going to believe what happened.
Yeah, I think that was probably, I'm like, they were putting all the like anxiety on you guys, and that's probably what's making you not feel good.
Yeah. That was a long ride home that day too.
Our only saving grace was a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, I mean, I could feel myself. I'm thinking to myself, this is dangerous. This is really dangerous. And so Dunkin' Donuts, here we come, and I was sucking down the 24 ounce. Yeah, without that, I think we would have had to pull off. I had to come home. I couldn't stay any longer because I had to go to work the next day. But
yeah.
But I do believe that they do get to know you, and they do feel comfortable. A perfect example there is when you go to a place like the Shanley. The Shanley is known for EVPs, not pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're very camera shy, and Kimmy will tell you, I just put my trap cam down and walk away, and you can hear click, click, click. I mean, I've gotten more from the trap cam at the Shanley than I have anywhere else.
But what else have we found
recently?
But what else have we found?
What?
What else have we found with the trap cam?
Oh yeah, well that's you tell that one. You like that story.
Every time the trap cam goes off by itself, without a skin-covered human walking in front of it and messing with it, the temperature goes up between 3 and 5 degrees every time.
Okay.
Is that not strange or what?
Yeah.
Because it usually goes down.
Down, yeah.
Everybody talks about cold spots. We have found, and it's not only the Shanley now, because it also did it in my shop.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
But when it goes off by itself, it's between 3 and 5 degrees. And the last time at the Shanley, I think it stayed steady for like 4 or 5 hours. The temperature stayed steady, and the one click it did, it jumped.
Yep.
Interesting.
It is, because it gives you a new area of research now, because it's always been temperatures have gone down. And I mean, I've got pictures from Gettysburg, because I put it in certain areas at the Battlefield Bed and Breakfast, and have not had that situation until the Shanley last year. And didn't have it anywhere else. I mean, it's gone off of Fort Mifflin for me, Old Jail Museum, even at Rockwood. And then I put it in Kim's shop in the storage room, and we had the same situation.
Interesting. So what was in the storage room before? When it was the other...
It's been quite a few things. We think it was an office, but we have an older black gentleman who still hangs out in there.
Yeah.
And he had a bottle of spirits hidden back in the cabinet. And he said, when he got the chill, he would have to go back and warm himself up. So we purposely
that makes sense then.
We purposely placed a bottle of whiskey in that cabinet all the way back in the corner. It's been moving around quite a bit, but that's what we had the camera on, was the cabinets, to see whether or not he was getting into them.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, the whole place is strange. I mean, when you go in there, as far as spirit activity, because and it's embarrassing on my end, but it's the truth. The day I was leaving, I had a dinner time flight, so I had all day, and her friend Lori took me out sightseeing, and we came back to the shop. I guess it was about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I had a great night's sleep the night before. I wasn't sitting in that chair when all of a sudden I'm out like a light. I mean, and I would wake myself up, and I'm like, what is this? And I just felt like somebody just pulled the plug on my neck, and all the energy was drained, to the point where I said, I gotta go outside. And the minute I went outside, I was fine. But I'm sitting in this chair, I'm waking myself up snoring in this chair, and both of them were looking at me and laughing. But I really think that there was so much activity and so much around, it was just draining me.
Yeah.
But somebody, I don't know if it was Patty or maybe Robin, somebody had said to us, there's so many crystals that she has in that shop that it could be causing, But it was the
pen on your pen.
Yeah, it's Sammy. She wants my attention. Hi, Sammy. I see you. She feels slighted. She likes to see me. But it's definitely strange. But yeah, getting back to what we were all talking about, I really do think that the spirits, if you go to a place enough, they know you. Like when you go to the cemeteries and things.
Yeah.
You know, you go there constantly, and
right.
You know,
and
if there happens to be anything.
Yeah, sometimes you're attracted to certain graves, so you always go back to those certain graves. So, you know, and I know when I'm at the old cemetery where I volunteer every week, you know, I'm out there, I like to walk out there, you know, sometimes just to clean things up, you know, pick up all the garbage that the neighbors, we're near like a downtown area, so there's a lot of homeless that just walk by and throw their bottles in or their, you know, McDonald's wrappers into the cemetery. So every once in a while, I just, you know, if it's a nice day, I like to take a garbage bag and just kind of wander around out there and explore and pick up the trash. And I know one day I saw underneath our cemetery, this is the cool part, there's a prehistoric Hohokam village. So, and at one part of that village, there's actually a cemetery. So we're a cemetery built on another cemetery. And so when it rains, it washes up pieces of pottery. And I know this one time I was out there and I was going around in this one grave site that had, you know, the fencing around it. And there was trash in there, so I went in there to get it, and I saw this really, really pretty piece of pottery that actually had design on it. Usually it's just clay, boring. But this one was really, really pretty. It was probably about as big as a quarter. So I took it in the house, you know, the offices to show everybody. And I said, oh, we can put this in our display case. It'll look really good because it's actually something than just boring brown pottery, gray pottery. And so then, like, the next time I was out there is with the time when I was going around there and I was going to reach over to pick up some garbage inside there, and I got pushed in. And luckily I landed on the piece of where the pointy part was not there. It was just kind of broken off. And it was like, and I was falling like in slow motion. And the only thing I could think of, I'm going to be impaled on this fence. The firemen are going to have to come, and I'm going to be on the local news, you know. Cemetery lady falls, in the cemetery. But I'm thinking they were mad because I took this piece of pottery, and I just sat there and I said, it's in the house. I did not take it home. It's in the house. It's still on the property. You know, it's like they were mad that I did that. But you know, they watch you out there. When you're walking around out there, you can feel a lot of the spirits watching you. They're not bad. It's not haunted bad. It's just, you know, people. I think they're happy we take care of the place. Yeah. And and that's one of the things we're going to be doing in February, because we're trying to get, when we have our open house day, it's like the third Saturday of the month or whatever. We want to get like activities coming, so people want to come. They'll go online and say what they're going to be doing at the cemetery this time. What are they up to now? Well, this time we're doing we're making old-fashioned Victorian Valentines. So people can come and then tour the cemetery. Then they can come inside and make a Valentine at the end of this month, so they can give it away, in February. And we're working on like a little scavenger hunt for them to walk around the cemetery and find, like heart-shaped tombstones or names, that have kind of a Valentine feel to it, or maybe someone that died on February 14th or whatever. So we're going to send them out on a little scavenger hunt while they're out visiting in the cemetery. So that's what we're doing this time. We're always trying to think of something new to get people in there to come explore. So,
well, let's back up. Let's back up to Kim talked about your events. Only you would think of something like that for Valentine's Day. Let's go get romantic in a cemetery.
Yeah. Well, it's we have our offices in an old Victorian house. They moved to the property, so it has that Victorian flow to it. But we thought that would get them in there. Maybe, I don't know. We're always trying to think of something.
Hey, she has crazy, cool, weird events. I love them.
Yeah, it's true. We try to. We spent we spent, what was it, in July? We had a workshop at an old hotel where a newsman got blown up back in the 70s, and they have it all retro, so everybody had to come dressed like in 70s clothes, with the polyester. So that was really a lot of fun too. We kind of like go with themes with our workshops. So everybody was dressed in polyester, and it was really, really kind of fun. We always make a craft. We have fun at our workshops.
Sounds it. Well, before we run out of time, and we're not close to it yet, but we're getting there. We still have like another 15 minutes. You have a New Year's story, your favorite New Year's ghost story.
Yeah. This is what, I don't know what you guys want to do on New Year's Eve, but one of these years, this is the thing I want to do. I have my little story here, so I'll kind of lay here if I can look at it and read it to you, little parts of it. But in Arizona, there is a place, the old stagecoach route that went from Prescott, Arizona down into Phoenix. And, back in the 1860s, they would take, because they mined up in the Prescott area at that time. They were bringing some of the gold down to Phoenix. And as they were going down, you have to go through this real rocky, just like in the Westerns. Remember the rocky spot in, where the bad guys always, ambush the stagecoach. Well, this happened again. It was the stagecoach drivers were so used to it, they would just they'd see the robbers and be like, okay, here we go. But this time they brought the cavalry with them, and they shot one of the men. And for an example, they left his body laying, just to dry out along the side of the road, and they start calling this area Skull Valley. And then, like a year or so later, it was on New Year's Eve. They were making this run from Prescott down to Phoenix, and there was only one rider. So the stagecoach, guy asked, well, come on up and ride with me in the top seat. And so they, they went to the Staten station. That was the last, stage station until they get down to the hill. And they knew as they were coming around this corner, going into Skull Valley, that's where the adobe was, and that's where they would find this, where the accident was. And sure enough, they saw this man coming out from the side of the adobe towards them, grabs the reins of the horses. And so the driver's just, trying to get going, and pretty soon they got past, and they looked back and they thought, well, what happened to the guy? And so they got off, they had their guns, and they thought maybe they trampled him. No, he wasn't there. So they thought, well, maybe he wasn't hurt bad enough. They took off, so they backtracked to the sand. No prints at all. And so they got back down to Phoenix. They told, some of the drivers what happened, and they said, yes, this happens every year on New Year's Eve. This phantom, the stagecoach goes by. There's the man comes out to attack, the stagecoach, and then he fades away. So my thing I want to do is I want to drive up there someday, sit there, where the old adobe was, wait till midnight, and see if this ghost comes out, ready to attack the stagecoach. And I can't get any of my friends to go.
Oh, dang, I'd be there in a flash.
They're like, it'll be cold there. And I'm like, well, we can sit in the car and leave the heat on, because it's, this is an old dirt road now. And I go, it's not going to be that bad, And so then my one friend was like, okay, I'll go. How long will it take us to get there? About 3 hours. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I have to drive home, after midnight. So I'm working. So I told her, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go up on some Saturday and actually find the spot. Because if we went just blindly, we'd be looking for the spot. We just kind of know it kind of goes around the corner. It's where the boulders are. Old adobe, probably maybe there might be a few rocks left. I doubt it. And so we know where we have to stop. Mm-hmm. And so then we could just go up some New Year's Eve, go right to the spot, park, and wait at midnight, see if the ghost comes, and then leave. But I just think that'd be like the best, New Year's.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't you need to rent a stagecoach?
Rent a what?
Stagecoach.
You're cutting out.
A stagecoach.
Oh, if I rent a stagecoach. Well, yeah, I don't know of anyone that has one, but...
Well, you said he's attacking the stagecoach. If you pull up in a car, it's not the same.
Well, they might think if we just went really slow.
Well, you're going to have to attach horses to the front.
Yeah, we can do that. Or we could just have people, we could do like, get
I
cops
know
to
where
do
she's
like,
going.
in a movie.
That's what I was thinking. Like they have the parades just to go home.
I knew where she was going.
That's the perfect place for the lawn chair and a bucket of chicken, Kim.
Right?
Just a trap can.
As long as the horses are not real.
And, have some hot chocolate or whatever, and see if the spirit pops out from the adobe and goes through the motions of, holding up the stagecoach, gets shot, and then he disappears. I think that's a perfect hunt, but I can't convince nobody to go with me.
Yeah.
Well, if I was there, I'd go.
I know.
And
but like I said, I gotta go some Saturday and find the spot exactly where it is, because it's all these back roads, and I don't want to be like looking for back roads, in the dark. So I want to go sometime in the daytime to find the place, and then take a bunch of people up there and have a New Year's party. And if they don't whine about being cold, so just bundle up and sit in the car. The car's got heaters, right? Yeah. You wouldn't have to be there, you just have to be there at midnight. So if you got there at 11:30, you'd only be cold for a half hour. Right?
I say get all together and rent an RV and park it over on the side. That way you can have your party inside. You've got your facilities, you got your heat, and you can watch what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the perfect hunt. So
I can see it happening. We should start planning it now. New Year's of 2015.
Now I have the directions right here on paper, so it's like I have the maps. I have old maps from the old days, so I usually just kind of match them up with the current. I have one of those that flip over the current route. So piece of cake. They just have to want to go. Drive me up there.
Well, Ducky in the chat room says she'd go. So, we're diehards.
There you go.
Yeah, but she also said how cold can it be in Arizona? I know.
Yeah, right. Well, in that area, it'd probably be the 30s.
Well, I know.
That's not bad.
I know from going to Vegas that the desert doesn't hold the heat. So once it gets dark, all the heat's gone. It's cold.
Right, yeah. So it'd be probably like in the 30s at the coldest, unless it's like a snows or something. It happens too, because it snows once in a while in that area. So, yeah. I've been trying to get people to do this with me for about 3 years. Ever since I found the story, I'm like, this is like the coolest place ever. And then everybody's like, well, I would rather do something fun, wear a party hat. Like, we can wear party hats. I got mine on now, so
what you do is, next time someone says, hey, I need your help. Sure, absolutely, no problem. As long as you sign this contract to go with me.
And find this where the old adobe was.
Right.
In Skull Valley. It shouldn't be that hard. It's not that big of a place.
Blackmail them into doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Find the Stanton station and follow the route down. A piece of cake.
Well, I got a creepy ghost story that's very similar. If you ever look up, Dinah Roseberry wrote a book, A Ghost of Phoenixville and Valley Forge, and one of the stories that she writes in there is about General Anthony Wayne. And Kim, you've seen the statue where he sits on the horse at Valley Forge Park, that real tall statue? Yep. Okay.
That wasn't that over by where that creepy circle thing is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the statue of General Anthony Wayne, and the story on him was he got killed in one of the battles, and back in the day they were trying to get his body home, and it was too big to fit in the box. So they ended up, I think they cut him up and they boiled him or something, and they shoved him in a box. And as they were taking him home, as they were, from, I don't know if it was Maryland or what, to back into the area where I live, okay, not too far from me, they'd go along and boom, there goes an arm, boom, there goes a leg. By the time they got him back, a lot of his body parts were missing. So somewhere in, I believe it's in January, people have spotted the spirit of General Anthony Wayne going along the road trying to pick up his body parts. So I was like, I've got to, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, this guy's skull was there. That's why they named it Skull Valley, because they left him out to, whitewash in the sand till he rotted as an example for other robbers that didn't stop and they kept robbing stagecoaches anyway. But yeah, I just think that's my goal. Maybe for next year still, New Year's is in the middle of the week. Yeah, we can do that. Just drive up after work and find the place and sit there to midnight, wait for the ghost of the bank robber, the ore robber to come out, get his picture, go home. We get home 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's okay. You'd be doing that anyway.
Right?
If you're out on New Year's Eve.
This is why Kim and I like you. It's funny.
Be all right.
Yeah. Well, we're starting to get a little close to time to say goodbye to you. I'm getting echoes here for some reason.
I'm okay.
Oh well. Now I don't hear it, so we're good. Okay. So, what do you have up and coming? Besides, I know you got this thing in February, the Valentine's thing for cemeteries.
There's another paranormal team that we do things with occasionally that want to go up to Winslow, Arizona, standing on the corner, Winslow, Arizona. And there's an old theater that they want to investigate, so we might do kind of pair up with them and do a workshop up there at the old theater. We can spend the night in the theater, so it's like bring your sleeping bag type thing. I know we have that one coming, and what else do we have? We've been tossing around, kind of making our agenda for the year with places we want to go and stuff. We have another gentleman that wants to do something up at an old ghost town, kind of in the area that I want to go to, so it might work out. I might be able to do 2 things at once, find the spot and do this other old ghost town that has a haunted tavern that had an old Bodoro upstairs too. It was moved from another town to this spot, so he wants to kind of go take a group of people up there, so we might do that. And I don't know what else. Whatever comes along, we'll venture on and try to do it. So no big out of country trips this year. So
she wants to meet me in St. Louis to go investigate my high school. Huh.
Yeah, we were looking at that one day. That looks like pretty cool. For old high school, it's like built on an old cemetery. It was like, I start looking at the boundaries, because I found another article that told the boundaries, and it was just exactly right. This high school smack in the middle of this old cemetery, and it was a cemetery they used to bury people from the insane asylum that was nearby. Yeah, and also kind of the indigent, low income people or homeless people. That was kind of a low, key type cemetery. That's probably why they didn't take all the bodies out, because nobody ever probably claimed everybody.
Well, they had to remove a few because once they decided to put the built-in pool, they ran across a few people.
I bet they did. But yeah, I think, and she was telling about some of the stories of that. But I was never able to find anything on a fire there, so how some stories.
What it was is they were buffing the floors and a fire had caught. Okay. But it was back in the 70s.
Yeah. But it sounded really like the building's really massive, huge. It's really one of those old-fashioned school buildings, kind of like when I went to in grade school, just built its turn. Well, that one was built, in the 20s?
Yeah.
I think the 20s, yeah. My grade school was built like in 1898, I think. It was really old. But
my grade school was built in 19,000.
Yeah.
1900.
1900, yeah. That's about when mine was, I think 1898 or something. So yeah, it's torn down now though. Yeah, I always see all these things I want to go. Everything's on the East Coast.
Well, I'm Midwest, so I'm closer.
Everything on the East Coast. Maybe you need to start doing stuff on the West Coast.
Hey, I'm Midwest. I'm right smack in the middle.
Oh, yeah, you're not too far. One day I was talking to some ladies that said they wanted to do a road trip to Texas. You might have a bunch of ladies pulling your driveway.
Come on. Eric will barbecue.
He's good at cooking.
Yeah,
he really is.
I'll pull some meat for a group of ladies.
And Eric is really good at cooking. I rewound it. Did you like that one, Kim? I rewound it.
I did like that.
Anyway, we got to get out of here. Anybody want to get a hold of you? How do they find you?
I'm on Facebook under Debbie Branning, DEBE Branning, or mvdghostchasers.com, or I don't know, just Google me.
Or a third boulder from the left in Arizona.
Yeah. Don't be the girl sitting up there all by herself on New Year's Eve on a bunch of boulders in Skull Valley. There's nobody else up with me.
That's funny.
And then I'll see the ghost and no one will believe me.
Yeah, really. Take my trap cam. It catches everything.
Right?
And we'll find out whether or not temperatures go up or they go down.
No.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
You guys, that's always fun.
Yeah, we have a great time. And we look forward to speaking with you again in 2014.
Of course. Gosh, that's for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, and we're going to say goodnight to you, and we're going to wrap up real quick.
Night, Debbie.
Okay. Well, we got to get ourselves out of here, but I'd like to say one thing, well, a bunch of things, but I'll say one thing real quick, is February 8th, I will be hosting a event at the Battlefield Bed and Breakfast in Gettysburg. So if anybody's interested in joining us, www.gettysburgbattlefield.com.
And we want to wish you all a safe and happy new year.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't drink and drive. Otherwise, we'll have Mary's son, the cop, come after you, and he's busy trying to figure out whether or not the cake's still blue.
Yeah, is it blue or is it pink? Anyway, Happy New Year to everybody, and special shout out to my very, very special friend, the kid. I love you. Happy New Year to you and your mom. And Kim, what can I say? We look forward to another wonderful year.
And more of our mischief. Be prepared.
That's right.
A little bit of both. I think you're doing the hover thing.
Yeah, I know. What a wild ride. Well, why don't we start with you, because we always start with you, and then I'll giddy myself.
No, you've got too much giddy going on. You get to go first.
Okay. Well, if you guys out there don't already know, I'm telling you, I'm going to be a grandma. Yay. And last night, yahoo! And you're going to be an Auntie Kim.
Yay!
And Uncle Eric, Uncle Yeti. We're going to have to start doing something cool on Penn here. Anyway, my son and daughter-in-law had a gender party last night, and I was like, what the heck is that? They sent us the invitations, but what they did was, when she had her last ultrasound done, they didn't want to know what they were having. They had the doctor write it down on a piece of paper and seal it in an envelope. And they went to a baker, and they gave the envelope to the baker. And this baker does these specialty cakes. And obviously when you cut it, pink inside for a girl, blue inside for a boy. So nobody knew. And what Jen came up with, my daughter-in-law, she got Hershey bars. And she got pink pens and Sharpies and blue Sharpies. And you had to write in Hershey either SHE or HE, the blue for the boy for HE, and the pink for the girl. No, you aren't. Yes, you are. for SHE, which I think is kind of cool because it's right in the middle of Hershey. So, of course, I wrote in blue because I was like feeling, boy, I was girl, girl, girl all along. And then the day before, it was like, I think she's having a boy. So when they cut into the cake and out came the first slice, it was blue. So I won a candy bar, and I'm also going to win a grandson. So that's pretty good. 2 things in one night.
And you found out on Vinny's birthday. That's
right. Yesterday was Rick's birthday, so it was all around fun. It was emotional too because it's been a long ride for them, and so it was a nice happy time. But I don't want to take away from the happy time, but I'm going to ask everybody for some prayers. My mother-in-law Saturday night got rushed to the hospital. She was in intensive care for a day or so, and they just put her in a regular room. She seems to be doing a lot better. So all of you out there, please, put some positive thoughts in her direction, and please send some healing and plenty of prayers. But anyway, May 9th.
Woot woot.
That's right. I was snapping pictures left and right, but I didn't have really good signal while I was there. I would have been posting on Facebook, so I had to wait till I got home. So how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm cold.
Oh, what are you, like 40? We're like 12 here.
Yeah, actually it is 40. Hi everybody, and welcome to Just Saying. It is December 30th, 2013. One more day of this year. I'm Kim, and I'm joined here as I am every week by my lovely, vivacious, and oh so happy co-host Mary. Hi Mary.
Hi Kim. Yeah, I am kind of happy. Am I sitting on a chair or am I floating? I can't tell.